everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tube, where it's ActionX's premiere show where we talk about things in the world of TV. Mostly, well, not mostly, all the time we're reviewing stuff. We're usually reviewing episode by episodes of currently airing shows, wrapped up shows by all their seasons, or these quick impressions. There was a bit of a scheduling snafu that I completely missed out because, well, apparently there was supposed to be a new Nancy Drew tonight, and they got pushed back. So what was originally supposed to happen was, and I'm sorry, we'll get to the quick impressions in a moment. I just want to give a brief update. What was funny was the plan was Nancy Drew was supposed to be our last new episode to review, and then we were going to go do one quick impressions for this Friday, well, tomorrow, and then next week we were going to be off the whole week. But now Nancy Drew got switched over, so we had a rerun tonight and the new episode next week. So this was the last minute decision. I legitimately don't know why. I mean, I could easily look it up online and figure out why they changed over, because the promo for last week specifically said next week. So I guess I really don't know. I honestly do not. It's such a weird turnaround. It really is. So now, here's the thing what we're doing overall, because the plan was we were going to do World Beyond tomorrow, and then we would be off for a week. So we're doing today's episode of What's in the Tube. Tomorrow we're off, and then next week we're still not doing Monday or Friday, and then for Thursday we will still have the Nancy Drew review. So technically nothing really changes, only the fact is that I'm still doing my planned breaks, because I'm still working on the mid-season finale for Let Joe Talk, and I'm still working on History Told Drama, which are approaching their deadline. So I'm going to try and use those extra hours to work on that. I was working on the Let Joe Talk mid-season finale first. But with that being said, we're here to talk about The Walking Dead World Beyond. This is the final Walking Dead show we're doing a quick impressions for. We're wrapping up the trifecta. We did Walking Dead last month, we did Fear the Walking Dead last month. Now we're finishing up with Walking Dead World Beyond. Actually, was it last month? Yeah, it was last month. Yeah, because we went on a pretty sizable rookie break, so it's been a while. Yeah, because the plan was when we originally aired our Close Enough quick impressions, that was supposed to be World Beyond, and I legitimately forgot I was going to do World Beyond. So my dumbass did another review instead of doing that one. So here we go. Keep in mind, hands down, quick impressions, we are not spoiling anything beyond the first episode. Anything after that I won't be touching upon, so this is everything just episode 1 base. So here's the thing. Flatline, I do not like World Beyond. I don't. It's very rare for me on a show to talk about negative stuff, because normally I'm really trying to look on the good side of things, and there were a couple of decent elements in World Beyond, but overall I was just not a fan. I really legitimately was not. There was just something with the premise and something about, like, I feel like The Walking Dead World Beyond is slowly trying to just be a show that's meant to complement other Walking Dead projects, in my opinion, where I'm very thankful this is a very limited show. There's only going to be 2 seasons, so next season we're done, we're out. I'm very thankful on that. My only issue is, that gets to the problem. You can have this argument with, like, Marvel Cinematic Universe or even DCEU or just any general film where, like, they're just basically making this product to set up for future stuff down the line. Where World Beyond definitely was, we're setting up the Rick Grimes movies, we're setting up the future of The Walking Dead. We are just expanding the universe. My only issue is that the main story we're trying to get is not appealing to me, per se. It really is not. Where The Walking Dead, when that started, it was just trying to tell the story of this world that's been filled with, walkers, and the apocalypse basically hit, and how does this specific universe survive in that post-apocalyptic world. Fear the Walking Dead was meant to just explain how it all started before it just shifts into a whole different, section of the world where it kind of is Walking Dead now, but it's not. It's that sort of weird thing. World Beyond is, I get the purpose of it. This is a world beyond the starting point. This is I think they advertise this as a decade after the apocalypse started. Around a decade. I don't think it was entirely a decade, but I think it is. So it's been about a decade since the apocalypse started, and we're seeing this very small this specific community that's, somehow managed to sort of have some sort of semblance of what things were like before. It's not entirely the same. There's no like cell phones. There's no social media. There's no like sort of those things. But when we do get those moments in the first episode, and then like later on in the season, we get to see those moments of, you know, just regular human interaction. It kind of does feel like this is a pre-apocalyptic world, and this is the first generation that kind of grew up without, you know, that sort of thing. Because even when Carl Grimes, like, you know, he was, I think, around 8 or 9. That's up to debate because of the whole age thing, the age problem in Walking Dead. So, but this is kind of like the real first generation of kids growing up in the apocalypse. What do they look like after that big time jump? What do they look like in this, like, now, this new world? Honestly, that was an interesting premise for me. It really was. But it's just like, on paper, it sounds like an intriguing idea. But when you get to see it, I just can't. I can't get with it, man. I really can't. It's so hard. And like I watched episode 1 live, and then every other episode was DVR'd because I was bored. Every episode felt like a chore. And of course, everyone's gonna say, "Why don't you just drop off? You don't have to watch the show." Here's the thing: it's only gonna be 20 episodes. I might as well suffer 10 now, 10 later. Well, maybe season 2 will be better. Who knows? Because for me, I was not a fan. Every episode was a bore. The characters didn't really intrigue me so much. And I still remember the announcement, whatever the teaser was, like, where it wasn't even a teaser. It was like the core, some of the core cast members just talking about the overall idea of the show. And even that is just like, no. Like, I'm already not sold on the show. And here's the thing, like, I've watched so many properties, I've watched so many different shows and movies now, like, I know so many actors and actresses, like, I could recognize them on the top of my head. These actors and actresses, like, I just, like, no, I don't mean any disrespect, like, I'm pretty sure they're, like, more talented individuals than me, they're probably getting paid way more than me. I'm not trying to say it under that, but I never got hooked on it. I never really felt the appeal. I never really got on board with it. I think out of all 3 Walking Dead shows, this is by far my least favorite / the worst. It just is. It really much is. Like, episode 1 in, like, there was never like this big hook to like really dive me in. Like, when Walking Dead episode 1 ended, it was Rick Grimes surrounded by a bunch of walkers underneath a tank, and we're just left wondering, is he gonna die or not? And then Fear the Walking Dead, you're just starting to see the world begin to crumble, and you're beginning to see, like, this is how it ends. Even though, like I've said before, I didn't, the start of Fear the Walking Dead was not the best. That was the things that really hooked me in. The end of World Beyond, it was predictable, where episode 1 ended with, like, I wasn't going to spoil it, like, the way it ended, like, it basically kickstarted the journey for these characters, but also what they left behind was, like, it's not surprising, but it's also like that's the thing, because, like, the thing is that no matter what, this is a companion piece of media. I think it's going to serve much more better, because I compared this with Age of Ultron to WandaVision, where I think people who leave WandaVision after seeing it on Disney Plus has a bigger appreciation for Age of Ultron, and as well as after Infinity War and Endgame, because Age of Ultron was a companion piece of sort. It was meant to set up future pieces of content for the MCU. I feel like World Beyond will probably have a much more deeper, richer appreciation for it when the Rick Grimes movies are on, when The Walking Dead probably gets to whatever the 3, I forgot the organization, the 3 rings, the 3, the weird symbol we've been seeing in The Walking Dead, like, during the All Out War stuff, and then beginning of season 9, and then in Fear season 5, like, the symbol, like that big symbol we've been seeing. Whenever they get to that moment where, like, we're finally going to tackle that on, and we're going to, like, really, we're really going to solidify it, that's when this show's going to have a bigger appreciation for it. But for right now, based on just the story alone, I understand it is a coming of age story. It is these characters trying to figure out who they are truly. It's just, they never had any sort of impact for me, where I just could not, I don't even remember half the characters' names, and it could just be like, oh, I'm talking about this show like months after I finished seeing it. Like, I remember Hope, I remember Silas, Hope's sister, The other kid, doesn't I forget easily. I do. I really do. But also, it's also the same thing. It's like, it's not as memorable in my brain. So it's like, I don't have to, like, it's not a How I Met Your Mother where it's like, I can literally tell you every single character's name, most of the storylines without reading a Wikipedia page. I don't need that. World Beyond, I need that because, like, I generally have... here's the thing. I really don't want to... I don't like talking bad about stuff, but we're allowed in 2021 to get critical on things. We're allowed to have an opinion. You should not have to censor yourself, and you shouldn't have to hide your true emotions or reactions to something just because, like, you don't fit the norm or you don't fit the common concession. Because a lot of people don't like World Beyond. The ratings for it were not the best in terms of both ratings, viewing rise, and ratings, critical rise. It just wasn't as good. I'm not trying to jump on the bandwagon because I legitimately agree with them. I did not find the show appealing at all. I really did not. They dragged out the story. Like, I know it's only 10 episodes for the season. But I'm like, oh my God, this is just dragging already. It really is. I think we got to the halfway mark and you were expecting something, and I guess it was, but it was supposed to be unexpected, but it's also expected because, like, the way they set it up was like, oh, here's a predictable thing, and then, okay, it ends up coming true. Like, there's never really was a moment of, like, because they definitely tried to surprise you multiple times throughout the show, or the season, because there's only been one season right now, but it never had an impact. It never really did. Like, okay, this makes for some pretty interesting, a pretty interesting scene or something, but it doesn't really impact the whole show as a whole. It really doesn't. And I'll give them credit. The set design, like, I remember the burning airplane and the big gas field, like that whole big smoke field with the walkers. Those were visually appealing. I'll give them credit for that. Those were some pretty cool moments. But that's the thing, like, visually, yeah, it may look great at times, but if the writing and the character development aren't there, then you're not going to sustain a show. You can't. And again, I'm very thankful that this is only a two season and done thing. Like, if this has been, like, actually constantly keeping going, I'm like, oh man, because, like, I mean, we've had comeback story, Walking Dead with season 9 and to now, and then Fear the Walking Dead this season. Like, I get those stories, but with this, it's like, no, I really don't. And I'm perfectly fine with this being a 2-season thing. I'm perfectly fine with it. I feel like this, but the thing is that, I'm sorry, I stopped one train of thought, I'm going to another one because that's how I roll here. I feel like this would have made the premise for a good indie movie in the Walking Dead universe, if that sounds corny enough. If it was just based on the human relationships and they put a little bit more emphasis on them, I think maybe it would have been a better show. But the fact is that every episode has to have some sort of setup with the big organization and the larger universe of the Walking Dead. Like, it just doesn't... It doesn't work for me. It really doesn't. And I'm trying to, like, take away those elements, but they're also part of the story too. Like, the whole reason why the main journey begins is that two of the main characters' dad is not locked away, but not trapped away, but, like, he's away at another section, another city, another area of this organization's reach. So they have to go get him. But then we get cutaways and then, scenes with him, and we get to see what he's been doing, and it does tie in with whatever the hell this organization is doing, because, like, we've been having questions since Walking Dead first brought it up, and then Fear the Walking Dead. Like, we've been getting these questions, but the thing is that it's just not enough to really entice me, because at the end of the day, like, they knew this was never going to be like, oh, this is a definite prequel to the Rick Grimes movies. Like, no, it's not. It really isn't. Because I think I distinctly remember back when the finale was being promoted, and one of the actors is casually mentioned Andrew Lincoln. So everyone started flipping and like, oh my God, Rick Grimes is going to be in the show. This is definitely going to set up the movies. Like, it was never going to set up the movies. Like, no freaking way was this ever going to set that up. It's going to set up the lore and give us a little bit more teases and backstory. But in reality, I'm like thinking, This is not going to do anything. There's not going to be a Rick Grimes cameo, which there wasn't. Even the actor had to clarify. It's like, I'm sorry, that's not what I meant. I'm assuming he's a pretty cool dude, but I never got to work with him. So that was misleading the fans for like a brief couple days. And then it never misled me because like I knew bottom of my heart, like, yeah, they definitely did not sign Andrew Lincoln on for this. They definitely did not. And I'm sorry, like I'm trying to like find a good thing to say about it. I can't. I really can't. This might be the first time where I genuinely cannot think of a real good character reason to talk about this. I really can, and maybe season 2 will change it. Maybe season 2 will change it, everything. But considering the fact this is a very limited show, I'm pretty sure the rest of season 2 has already been written. So maybe they'll fine tune some things. But honestly, I don't know, man. I really can't, and I can't even mention. This is so weird because like. I can't say a goddamn good thing about it. I can't. I really can't. Okay, I said the set things were beautiful. That was one thing, but other than that, like, I really can't. I really can't. Maybe season 2 will redeem it. Who knows? But as for flat out season 1, I would not recommend it. I really would not. It is not worth a binge. It's not worth a recommendation. It is not. If you want to be a Walking Dead fan and you want to go really extra with it, I would still not recommend this. Like, you could probably just find clips on YouTube and then just see the important stuff if they're going to affect the Rick Grimes movies whenever they come out, because they announced it like 2-3 years ago by this point, and like we still haven't gotten it. I know there was a pandemic and everything, but like, come on, like, you could have kept Rick on the show for the time being or something. Like, I really don't know. I feel like the whole thing is just like, they're just trying to, like, they wrote around Andrew Lincoln's leaving, and then they just had to, like, oh, we want to make movies off your character now so you don't have to spend so much time filming. And now it's like, we're just pandering towards the inevitable. I mean, Walking Dead is probably going to end before we get the Rick Grimes movie. That's just the obvious truth. Like, we have no reports on when that movie's coming out, when he's going to even start production. And I legitimately don't know anymore. I really don't know. But so again, in closing, to wrap this up, I would not recommend World Beyond. I really don't. I cannot. If you're an extra Walking Dead fan, okay, go ahead, do it. But like, if you're just a casual viewer and you're looking for your next binge, this is not it. This is not it, really. I'm sorry to say that. I don't mean any disrespect to the cast, crew, everyone involved in it. I'm pretty sure they put a lot of effort into the show, into the making of. I just wasn't a fan. I just wasn't. I will watch season 2 when it comes out, because it's going to be another one and done. So I'm like, great, let's finish out that story. And if it's any better, I'll talk about it. If it's not any better, well, I'll still talk about it. But overall, I just can't recommend it in my good heart. I can't. So, yeah, there you go. Sorry about that. Sorry about if I didn't have anything positive to say for once. I apologize. But not really. Well, actually, I do, but I don't, because I'm trying to be honest here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. So I think that's going to do it for me tonight, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's in the Tube from ActionX, doing a quick impressions on The Walking Dead World Beyond Season 1. That is a long-ass title. If you want to know what we're doing overall, normally at What's in the Tube, we're doing Walker reviews, episode reviews, each and every Friday morning after a brand new episode on Thursday nights on the CW, or free the next day on the CW app. We are still on a 2-week break for that, so we will not be back next week. We're not back this week or next week, so we have nothing to do. We also do Rookie Season 3 episode reviews each and every Monday morning after a brand new episode on Sunday nights on ABC, and then on Hulu the next day. That's also on break for another week, so, and because of my hiatus, I'm not releasing an episode on Monday. We'll be back that next week. And as for Nancy Drew, we normally do Season 2 episode reviews each and every Thursday mornings after a brand new episode on Wednesday nights on the CW, and then free the next day on the CW app. We will be back next week for that. That will be the only episode review we're doing for that next week, and then we'll be back to normal that next week. We're doing the whole 3 show. I just need a break. Well, not really a break. I need a break from this show and focus on other things, because I love doing What's in the Tube, but I also like doing other things. So there you go. But again, this has been What's in the Tube from ActionX. If you want to see more of us, please subscribe to ActionX on youtube.com/ActionX. Ring that bell for notification when our next episode review is live, which is normally every Monday, Thursday, and Friday mornings. Like, favorite, share this review if you want to. If you like hearing me talk about TV show, it helps us beat that YouTube algorithm that I still don't understand to this very day. And sharing is always for free. Follow us on social media to be up to date with any sort of updates for the channel. Follow us on Twitch. So until next time, if you're a Walking Dead fan, I'm pretty sure we'll talk more about The Walking Dead in the future. Not the immediate future, but like in the future. So stay tuned for that. But if you like me talking about other TV shows, I do a lot of quick impressions. I do a lot of reviews. So subscribe and check the playlists. So go check that out. So with that being said, stay safe out there. Be good to each other. Let me know in the comments below if you watch World Beyond and what are your thoughts on it. I would just love to have a discussion, because no one I know watched the show, which I'm very thankful for. But until next time, peace out.